friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the Rocky Mountain Crafter here with you. Today's stamp sets that I'm using are by Catherine Pooler, and it's Pineapples and Smiles. And I'm also using a greeting set. There's the dies for the Pineapple and Smiles. And the greeting set that I'm using is called Cheerful Greeting Sentiments. So I'm taking some Catherine Pooler white paper. This paper is fabulous for stamping on. And I'm just trimming it to size so that it will fit into my mini Sizzix. And I'm putting that die, the pineapple die, right into there. And I run it through twice just for good measure. Sometimes I find that it doesn't cut through all the way, some of the dies. Not all of them, just some of them. Especially if they're a longer die. The shorter ones seem to cut better than the longer ones. So here I'm putting the pineapple stamp flower motif I'm just lining it up into my precision press by We Are Memory Keepers and inking it up with Versamark, which is like a clear sticky ink. And then I'm putting some embossing powder onto this. And the embossing powder is Clear Sparkle by Wow. Now you can see off to the left there that I have two pineapples that I'd already done. I tried doing one in yellow, same idea, but with a yellow background, and I didn't love it. And then the white one, I didn't get the Versamark all on it. So I did a third one here, and it was 3 times the charm. So there I just did the heat tool on it to melt that embossing powder. And here I have Aquatini Tiara and Party Dress. And these inks are by Catherine Pooler, and they are in the Party collection. And this particular set is called Life of the Party. This is 4 of 8 in this set. And I just am blending with yellow and the pink and the Aquatini. And I'm trying to overlap a little bit to get the orange from the yellow and the pink and the teal from the green and the yellow. Or sorry, from the yellow and the Aquatini, get that green color in there just to make it very tropical looking. And I'm happy with that. So now I go in with the top of the pineapple, and I do that in Lime Ricky. So Lime Ricky is also in this set of inks. Catherine Pooler's inks tend to come in sets of 8 that all coordinate. And so this Lime Ricky is part of this set. And I'm just finishing off stamping the top of that pineapple in that beautiful green. I did go over it twice just to make sure that it had beautiful color on it. Nice smooth color on it. And here I'm just taking a piece of that Catherine Pooler white paper again, and I'm trimming it to size just so that it will fit into my precision press. And here I'm taking the magnets off of the precision press and putting in that piece of paper. And I'm doing this greeting. Now I'm going to do the greeting gradient in these same colors. So this was my second attempt at it. The first attempt, I wasn't happy with it. I didn't feel like there was enough yellow in it. And so here I'm just making sure I put lots of yellow right in the center. And then the Aquatini and the Party Dress. And then blending it on both sides right where they meet so that we get some of that overlap of color of the green and the orange in there. And also so that the line isn't so harsh. And then I repeat that process. I just do it again with the same colors, the yellow, big yellow in the middle. I would have liked if I had more orange in there. Like the teal really turned out great, and the green, I have some green on that N, but I didn't get too much orange. But you know what? It's not a deal breaker. It still looked fabulous in the end, and it was just so bright and fun to use these colors. So here I have that greetings stamped onto my white panel, and I'm going to eventually cut that down. So here I'm taking my phone light, and I need to make a panel on top of this with the die cut out of it. So I'm making a shaker card out of this basically. The greeting is going to be, the word greeting is going to be under the top of the card. So I just lined it up using the phone light, and here I'm taking off the low tack tape and making sure that I have it all lined up properly. And there it is. It's perfect, actually. So good. I just love the colors of this and how bright and fun it is. And I'm just going to cut this panel down to size. I'm feeling like it's a little bit large at the moment. I'm just eyeing out how much I need to take off. So I use the pineapple as a guide, placing it there to make sure that I'm not taking off too much. So I do one side and then I do the other, and I'm happy with that size there. Then I decide I'm going to back it onto black. I find that black, when you have vibrant colors like this, it really makes it pop. So here I've just put it into my all-in-one tool, piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I've put a score line into it. And I'm just trimming this card base down to size. And this black edge around the whole white card front is really going to make those colors pop. And what's important to me is to get all four sides even. So I'm just trimming it to a size that I think looks good. Again, I am just eyeing it out. There is no dimensions that I have for this. I just do what looks good. So here we have the acetate. Now, you can see there, can you see that little cut in there? But that's not a deal breaker. So I've marked it right there with the blue arrow. All that I do, that piece is going to end up on my piece of acetate, which is a problem, but it's underneath where the hole for the words is going to be, so it's not going to be visible, but I don't want it to decrease the integrity of this piece of acetate. So I'm just taking some regular Scotch tape and taping that up. And then using my adhesive ATG gun, I'm just putting adhesive all the way around the words, and then I do a little bit extra just for good measure to make sure that acetate is really going to stay on there. And like I said, that crack is underneath the words. It's not even noticeable from the front. There, taking my shirt, use what you have, but for me it was my shirt, just to clean off that acetate piece, make sure there were no fingerprints on it. And there I'm taking the cheerful greeting set and just eyeing out where I want that sentiment to be. So it's going to say cheerful greetings, and I thought that this spot here was a good spot for it. I needed the pineapple just to make sure that it was all placed properly, and just putting it back into my Stamping Precision tool by We Are Memory Keepers, inking it up with Memento black ink. And it only took one time. I didn't have to do it twice. It was nice and crisp and clear and dark and beautiful. So then I put foam adhesive onto the back. I concentrate at first on doing it all the way around the words, because this is going to be a shaker card in the end. And by doing it all the way around the words first, I just found that it's easier to kind of to make a little pocket to put those sequins into. And then afterwards, I go through and I put adhesive on all the rest of the back of the card, where it is important to put adhesive in all the gaps and on the edges. Here we have a mixture of sequins. I couldn't decide. There's so many beautiful colors here. Here's a little trick for you. Take the bottom of your ink pads. They usually have a little dip in them at the bottom, and you can use that as a tray for your sequins when you're laying them out. You don't need to go get a fancy tray for your sequins. Just use what you have. And so I am taking the sequins in the bottom of my Catherine Pooler inks and a combination of colors that match the card. Here I've put the card front back into the precision press, lining it up against those pegs, and then I'm putting the back onto it, and it will be completely lined up perfectly. And then when I flip it over, I do see that there is a slight edge hanging over on the bottom, but you just take your large scissors and cut off at an angle so that you're not cutting that top piece at all. And you're also not cutting the foam tape that's on the back. When I do foam tape, I do like to put it a little bit away from the edge so I have a little bit of room to play with. And here I am just taking some adhesive and I'm going to pop it right onto that black card base that I've pre-made, just putting a better score line into it, making sure it's nice and crisply. And taking the pineapple, I put 3D adhesive foam onto the back of that as well, pop-up foam. And just placing it on a piece of white paper so I can see that edge and see where I want this pineapple to be. And that's it. That is the card done. So I just love the bright colors of this, especially in winter right now. It is so dull out there. We just had about 8 inches of snow overnight, and this just turned out absolutely fabulous. And the beauty of this particular card is that you can use this technique for the acetate with any die cut and stamp set that you have. It doesn't have to be this one per se. So use what you have. Thank you so much for watching. I am the Rocky Mountain Crafter. You can catch me at therockymountainCrafter.com, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, folks. Bye-bye.